Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana, and I am live this morning on Facebook. If you're joining me on YouTube, I am not live, but I'm so glad that you're watching this video anyway. Usually I start off, if you're on YouTube, I start off blabbing a little bit because it takes a while for the people on Facebook to get on live. So if you don't want to hear me blab, just fast forward the video and you can get to the correct part. So good morning to everyone who's joining me. Today is the day when we take a card, an existing sample out of the catalog, and we give it a makeover. And there's a group of us bloggers that do the same card. And then we also invite all our friends and customers and other demonstrators to join us in copying or giving a makeover to the same card. So we have a little community on our Facebook group, and if you're looking for the link, just look down in the description of my video. I have links to everything that you could possibly want to link to. Anything that I talk about today will be down below. And hello everyone. So a little bit about me this week. I'm having a weird week, and I'll tell you why I'm having a weird week. My son is off in Puerto Rico. He's part of the TV media production class. He's a senior in high school. And the carpentry class from his high school is going down to rebuild after the hurricane in Puerto Rico. I guess it was about a year and a half ago, I think. And it is like a continual process when these hurricanes come through. People aren't able to rebuild and get back on their feet right away. It takes them a long time. The same carpentry class used to go down to New Orleans and help after Katrina, and they've been doing that for a number of years, and Katrina's has happened a long time ago, but now they've switched to Puerto Rico. So my son was asked to do a documentary with his class. He's the senior going down. There's two juniors from his class going down, and they are filming this week. And I love this opportunity for him. I love it when he gets a chance to travel. He loves to do it, and it's a great opportunity for him. But he's our only child. So next year he's going off to college, and I feel it really hard this time, because in the past I guess I felt like, okay, well, he's coming back and he's going to be back. But now I'm like thinking, oh my gosh, this is what it's going to be like when he goes off to college. And then last night my husband, he texts me, oh, I have a conference. I'm at this conference giving a talk, and I didn't realize that there was a dinner. Won't be home for dinner tonight. And it like hit me really hard. So now not only was my son gone, but my husband wasn't coming home for dinner. And I was so weirded out by the whole thing. And I'm usually pretty independent and I can hack stuff, but I just feel like maybe some of you empty nesters can relate if you've already gone through the process. But I have been the person that, I stayed at home, and I worked in the last few years. I worked my Stampin' Up business, and I love that. And I have that, and I love being creative. But at the same time, it's like, wow, I have kind of wrapped myself around my family a lot. And now my son's leaving, and my husband just just the way he just texted me last night, I kind of felt like, wow, no one really cares. Here I've made this home, and all of a sudden you just kind of lose your identity a little bit. So I guess that was just a little bit hard for me last night. So anyway, my card today is not quite what I love to do. I made it last night because I'm having a very busy spring. There's a lot of things going on too. So, graduation, and we'll have family coming. And so there's a lot of stuff going on in my life, and it's very busy. And so last night I'm making the Casing Tuesday card, which I probably should have made earlier. And in the end, I like, I mean, I like it, but I'm like, oh, I could do a little better. So today I think I'm going to make it with a little bit happier colors. I felt like this card that I made was a little dark, so I'll show it to you in a second. And we're going to remake it with some lighter colors, with some happier colors. And by the way, if you have any advice for me about empty nester syndrome, yeah, like post it below. I'd love to hear it, because it is a little hard. Like I didn't realize that, you know, it would all hit me very hard. And it's not even time yet. Like I still have several months with Nicholas, and he'll be still at home. But just thinking about it, thinking ahead to the future, it just kind of felt, wow, this is what it's going to be like. All that energy you put into your family. And I mean, it's great for them, you know, it's nurtured them, but at the same time, now that role that you've taken on becomes less important. And I guess you have to kind of try and find yourself again. And also the moves that we've done have made it a little harder, because I don't have family close by, and I have friends in different parts of the world, but I certainly, like, my friendship base here, they're mainly acquaintances, and I really need to work on having some local friends that I can do stuff with. So I really need to, this fall, some changes are going to happen in my life, because right now I'm too busy to implement them, but it's still kind of weird. Okay, I've talked way too long. So anyway, let me scroll up. Hello, everyone that's joined me this morning. Yay, thank you. Okay, let's turn the camera around, and I'm going to show you the card, and I'm going to make a different one with happier colors. Happy days, right? There's my view this morning. The sun is shining, which I'm very happy about. It was a little cold this morning, though, on our walk. It was below freezing, which does not make me happy. You know, you just start getting into the warmer temperatures again, and then you have to put your down jacket on again. Yuck. Okay, here's the card we are casing. It's a fairly simple layout, so I love this layout even for beginners, and it's good for experienced people who are in a time crunch. So that was on page 24 of the Occasions catalog. This is the card that I made, and even though the other card uses navy as a background, I felt like it was a happier card. I don't know, for some reason this card just kind of made me feel that it needed to be lightened up a little bit. I don't know, we'll work on it. We'll make it better. That's the thing, when I'm making a card, if I have enough time, it's a process, and I perfect it and I make it like, so I actually really like the card. This isn't a bad card, but it's probably not my best work. So there you go. I showed you a card that I wasn't totally in love with. So a couple of things I'm going to be using on this card is the Butterfly Gala bundle, and I believe, I haven't checked the back order report. I hope it's not back on back order, but right now I think it's still orderable, and hopefully it will still be available. This was a bundle that was couldn't be ordered past January because the back order went on too long, so it's now back in stock. So I love that. I'm going to be using, these are the well-written framelits. I love all these words. They're perfectly sized for the card, and we will be using the thanks from this set. And then I love these rectangle stitch framelits. They're lovely for adding layers. So those are some of the products that I used. So I thought we would kind of, you know, start off with a happier color. So I thought balmy blue. Blue is good, right? Blue is like, a light blue is like happy. You know, it's like lighter. It's like says spring, right? So this is 11 by 4 1/4, scored in half at the 5-inch mark. And then this strip that comes down here, I used the exact same strip of paper so we could see how the color difference would happen. So this piece is 1 1/2 by 4 3/4. So we're going to add that here. Let's do die cutting. So let me bring in the big shot. And so I wasn't really sure what color we should do the thanks in. sometimes I've had issues with Rich Razzleberry, so we could do it in Rich Razzleberry, but we could also try it in Balmy Blue. Let's see how it goes. Let's just run this through. This is the little thanks. I think, oh, it shifted, but it's still kind of okay. Doesn't look too bad. It got caught off a little bit. I should have watched. So I am just going to use, I could bring over my dye brush, but this is just a couple of little spots I need to poke through. So that's the thanks in Rich Razzleberry. Let's do it again in Balmy. And that's sometimes what I do, you know, like I will cut words in different colors and experiment and see what I like better. I'm a very visual person, so sometimes I need to actually see it laid out before I make a final decision on something, you know. I know what I like when I see it, right? Maybe a lot of us are like that. You know, we just know, okay, this looks good. Oh, look, and it shifted again. Ah! All right. Is it bad? It's not too bad. I think I actually have another couple of these die cut. So let me just poke these through. Blue, blue, blue. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna do our rectangle stitch framelit, and you know, I've done my little trick before with the wax paper. With these stitched framelits, they have this really fine detail stitching, and sometimes it gets stuck in the paper a little bit. So I just go ahead and rub my framelits. It's the easiest way. Don't put the wax paper right down on the cardstock, because then some residue can get on the cardstock, and it can sometimes when you're doing a technique on the cardstock, it is not the best. So if you just rub it right on that stitching and the cut line, you'll see that it comes out a lot better. And I probably should have done one other thing. Usually when I run this through, I do it on an angle a little bit, because it helps not doing it right on the straightaway. But this one was like a fairly short straightaway, not a thick one, so it was okay. But see how nicely that releases? And now, like, the stitch lines are all nice and perfect. They're not, sometimes they will, I don't know, it won't look nice, like it will tear up a little bit when you don't use the wax paper. So it's a good little trick. I keep a roll of wax paper in my craft room. I love wax paper. It's also good for wrapping sandwiches in. A little tip of the day. Okay, what else do I need? Okay, on to the butterflies. Butterflies, butterflies. Okay, so I'm going to use this butterfly here. And last night I stamped it in Night of Navy, so afterwards when I cleaned it, my butterflies look pink now, but they still stamp fine. I'm going to try Balmy Blue. Oh, did you guys see my technique for opening up the ink pads? I did a little video the other day. If you didn't see this, you could go back and watch it, but I did a little video. But I found the best way to open these if they're kind of sticky. Like, it's a little hard to open this, right? So if you have trouble, put your hand on the top, use your bone folder and pry it up. It's a little easier to do that. And the closer you hold it to the body, the easier it is. And then you can swing it around, use your desktop to push it down, and then you're good to go. So let me ink that up. And I just need that top butterfly. Okay, so now when you're ready to close this, sometimes it's hard to grip this. I can grip it right now, but see, I got a little bit of ink on my finger now, so that's not good. So you can take this and push the bone folder and push from this end over here, and this way if there's any ink, it gets on your bone folder, not on you. Then you have a little bit more room to grasp down here and pull and close. It's a little easier. Okay, but I have a little video on that if you don't, you know, if you want to ever refer back to it. Where did my pitch go? under here. So this goes in here. And just make sure it's centered. And punch. You know, another little trick that I probably should have done, but it's too late now. Sometimes it's easier to color on your cardstock before you punch, because if you have a little tiny piece like this, you don't really have a lot to hang on to. So it's sometimes not that easy to color when you have a little itty bitty piece, but I'm going to try. This is the light rich raspberry, and I'm just going to take the brush marker. Ooh, I forgot to do one little thing with this little guy, but we'll do it in a second. I'm just coloring a little bit on the center part of the butterfly with the rich raspberry, just to give him a little bit of color. Okay, bring in the balmy blue again. Okay, I'm strong enough to open it, but if you have trouble with your ink pad, you can use the bone folder technique. So this is just the little body of the butterfly, and I'm going to stamp it. I like to stamp it afterwards, after I punch it. So there. Isn't that cute? I love the little butterfly. He's too cute. Okay. Do I have all my pieces? Almost. Okay, so let's bring this in and let's have a look and see how this looks. So I've got this here, this little label here, my little butterfly here, and I need my thanks. So I cut two thanks, right? So I have, this is my rich raspberry, which looks good and dark, but I don't know. Rich raspberry sometimes looks a little dark for me. So what if I were just to go a little lighter with that thanks? I don't know. I think I'm going to try it with the blue. I pre-tied a little ribbon. I did also tie the Night of Navy ribbon. Let me put this back on. But I think it's a little dark. I don't know, I think it's just a little too dark for the card. It's okay, but I think it's a little dark. So I'm going to go with the Whisper White. I'm going to just kind of keep everything light because I want a light day, right? Today is a better day than yesterday, right? Okay, so let's scoot all of these pieces off to the side and let's adhere everything. And then I'll bring in the other card and you can tell me whether the dark card's better or the light card's better. The dark card, it was my mood last night. It was dark. It's like, I guess no one wants to have dinner with me tonight. So what did I have for dinner? I had spinach. I microwaved some fresh spinach. And I was like, I'm not cooking, really. Like, that really wasn't cooking. But I probably would have bought something else when I went to the grocery store. Like, that was easier to cook than what I ended up cooking. Usually I kind of plan my meals in advance, and I wasn't really thinking of just like for one person. So let's put this down here. I'm kind of centering it from side to side, but putting it in the lower part of the card. Then let's grab the thanks. Everything is sticking to me this morning. Yeah. I usually have a salad for lunch, so I wasn't like really that keen on repeating the salad. So I just snooped up the spinach with a little cheese on it. Okay, I do like cheese. I don't know if I could ever be vegan because I like cheese too much. But I know they have vegan cheeses now too. But as my son says, they're not quite as good. If you really like cheese, the vegan cheeses aren't quite there yet. But maybe one day they will. So always an option down the road. All right, so I'm going to add my little butterfly. If I just add the glue to the center, maybe I can lift up his wings just a little bit. There. He's so cute. Okay, where are my mini glue dots? Here they are. So I'm just going to grab one mini glue dot. Where's the end of the row? Okay, I'm going to make a mini glue dot blob with my paper piercing tool. So I'm just going to kind of roll it around into a blob. I'll stick it on the corner of the little rectangle stitched framelit, and then I'll stick my little twine bow right on top of that. If I do the blob, like rather than just keeping, these guys get flattened out a little bit over time. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see the little dot, but they get a little big, so they're kind of bigger than the twine. So that's why I go ahead and make it a little bit smaller like that. So on this card, I stamped that butterfly there last night, and I kind of thought, oh, it'd be kind of cool to do a little trail of butterflies. But afterwards, I thought, that just looks like a dark, depressing butterfly. I just made a depressing card. Even though it has flowers and a butterfly on it, I kind of felt like, wow, it's just kind of depressing. So anyway, I'm not going to stamp an extra butterfly on there. I'm just going to leave that little guy alone and just kind of keep him just like that. So what do you think? Do you think the light card is better or the dark card is better? Now you might like the dark card, and that's okay too. That was just kind of, I was kind of going off the sample. So I was using some of the colors in the sample, which were also kind of dark, right? So it's not like this card was completely different, but after I did it, I was like, you know, I kind of feel like it's a little dark. Kind of reflected my mood last night, and then I think, aw, Karen loves them both. That's so cool. Anyway, so I kind of thought that the light card was a little bit happier, a little bit more spring-like, so we will go with that. So that was my take. Now, here's my challenge to you. Why don't you do something better than what I did? Like, why don't you take this layout and join us over on the Casing Tuesday Facebook group? Very easy to do. Just look at the description of the video and click on the link to join. Maybe you already joined and you haven't posted anything yet. This is a good week to do it because this is a really easy layout. If you wanted to, instead of this designer series paperback here, you could stamp something like a long tall flower or a tree, and then you still have this room for the greeting to come across. So you don't necessarily have to use designer series paper. That is the quick and easy way to make this card with designer series paper, and we have so much of it. So, and it's good because you could probably use up a scrap of designer series paper that you have on hand that you want to get rid of. So it's a good one to get rid of that little scrap you have. All right, let me turn this around. All right, guys. Well, I have, next week I will be here again with another card. And I have some more, I have some cat projects coming up at the end of this week. So I hope you'll stay tuned for those. And until next time, I will see you back here. Take care. Bye-bye.